Most of us have heard of the 80-20 rule, but did you know it's called the Pareto Principle? This was named after the economist Vilfredo Pareto. This idea originally came from studying wealth distribution. Pareto noticed that 80% of Italy's land was owned by 20% of the population. Over time, people found this pattern applies to nearly everything, including fitness, nutrition, time management, and even personal growth. For busy moms, this principle is gold. For us, it means that 80% of our results come from just 20% of our effort. The key is focusing on the right 20%, so you're not wasting time on things that don't move the needle. Let's dive into today's quick yet powerful episode. Hey there, I'm Ashley, mom of 4 and creator of Reps and Redemption. Join me as I share my passion for health education, explore all things fitness and nutrition, plus share a little faith-filled homemaking. Hey there, and welcome back to Reps and Redemption. I am so excited that you can join us for this episode today, the 80-20 rule for moms who want results without burnout. I want to make a few main points, and I'm including some mental shifts with possible action steps. Now, you can apply them, try them, or disregard them. You can choose whatever works for you. But I absolutely love this principle, and I'll explain why this episode came to be in each one. But just to kind of put it in a nutshell, I just kept hearing about 80-20 this, 80-20 that. We've all heard it. And I was so curious as to what that really meant. What does that mean for me? Am I on board with this idea? Now, I don't think that you have to do this with everything, or maybe there's some things for you that are more important that you want to prioritize more than the topics we talk about on this show. But I do think it's kind of freeing to utilize and use a principle that actually works and can help us see results a little bit quicker when we really focus on what matters. So let's dive into the main points of today's show when it comes to the 80-20 rule. So first, the main point I want to talk about is within our fitness. And here we're going to maximize the workouts that matter. And instead of stressing about doing everything or trying to do it all, we need to do what actually works. For example, I think that a lot of basic exercises can be overlooked. So I read something recently. My husband and I were discussing someone on, I think it's called X now. And I guess this guy gets a lot of messages on, what do you do for your workout? He's pretty lean. He's pretty fit. And more my age, close to maybe your age, in his 40s. And he only does, and he sticks to simple and things that work. And he said what works for him is pull-ups, incline bench, and deadlifts. Those are, simple workouts, but the way that he does them, heavy and high loads, a lot of reps, doing that 3 times a week, really, what else do you need? I can see how that would really benefit the body. I can see how that would push you to go heavier when you can, go lighter when you need to. Really, you're pulling your entire body up in the pull-ups. You're doing bench, you're working out your chest, you're working out your triceps. Deadlifts is a compound exercise. It works multiple muscle groups and joints at once, and it primarily targets the posterior chain. This includes your glutes, your hamstrings, your lower back, your core, your quads. You're using your forearms and your grip strength. You're using your upper back and traps. It mimics real-life movements like picking things up off the ground, and it's highly functional and beneficial for strength, muscle growth, and athletic performance. I think that keeping things simple definitely has its place, and I really like that he mentioned that when I guess he kept getting, I can't remember this person's name. My husband and I were talking about it, and I was just like, if I wanted to keep it simple, that's pretty much what I would do. And maybe I would add in barbell squats. I really enjoy barbell squats, or maybe just use a dumbbell if I need to go lighter that day. But you need to decide what works for you and what kind of push-pull combination of 2 to 4 exercises, you could just, you could do that 3-4 times a week. You just know. It takes you 20 minutes, maybe 20 to 40 minutes, depending on how high your reps are, depending on how heavy your weight is. And instead of, like I said, stressing about doing everything, just do what actually works. And the mental shift here is more is not always better. And especially as homemakers, moms, maybe some of you are homeschooling like me, smarter is better. So the action step here, I kind of just said it, pick your top 3 most effective workouts per week. This is really going to help you if you've been struggling to find time. So pick your top 3 most effective workouts. Choose one that builds strength and do one. Do one workout that improves endurance and do one workout that can fit into your life simply. I would love to hear what you come up with. If you need a little bit of help, feel free to email me or direct message me. And here, this is where we're going to go with, again, in one of my last episodes, training smarter and not harder. So that definitely fits into that one. The second point I want to make is within nutrition. So making 80% of our meals count. You don't need to eat perfectly 100% of the time to see results. I can attest to this for myself. This is my own experience. This is my own experience seeing my adult daughter do it as well as my husband. I've seen results not only in myself, but in my family members and people that I train with. Perfection is the enemy of progress, and you can definitely enjoy flexibility without falling off track. And I think that those types of diets or challenges have their place, but I think when you limit or say, I absolutely cannot have a Little Debbie oatmeal cookie, like when you get around something that's even remotely close to that, that can lead to binge eating. And I'm not a huge fan of going on crazy diets, I guess, if you will, or crazy protocols. The only time that I think that is beneficial is if you're having an autoimmune issue or a gut health issue, or maybe you've been an immunity issue where you've been sick a lot. I can see where they have their place, but I do think most of the time eliminating things just because they're, quote, bad, will lead to some sort of binge situation that we don't really need to deal with. Having one Little Debbie oatmeal cookie and moving on with the rest of your life for the rest of the week or even 2 weeks, you don't need another one, is definitely the better way to go. Another really quick funny story that I can share with you is a friend and I were messaging on Instagram recently. I call her my friend, but this is the first. She was one of my first jiu-jitsu matches, and I tapped to her triangle. That was awesome. So we came to be friends after that. But it's funny because we have a lot of similarities. We're like, let's make our homemade from scratch meals. Let's make sourdough bread. Let's get our raw milk from the market. And, we're very like essential oils and doing like homeopathic medicines. But occasionally, here's our energy drinks, and yeah, we're trying to choke people for fun. And she responded, she was like, hey, 80-20, right? So I thought that was kind of funny because it was just another reason, another thought of this episode that I really needed to dive into what this actually means, and for sure. So your action step within the point of nutrition is audit your meals. And if 80% are protein rich, whole and nutrient dense, you are on the right track. For me, I have been trying to hit 140 grams of protein per day. So what that means is I will definitely eat my protein first. I will make it first. I will eat it first. And I will have my greens and veggies on the side, my sweet potato. And then by the time I can get to my chips or, my little snack bag of Doritos or whatever ones my husband brought home from work, or the chocolate that I've been wanting, I really can't manage to eat much of it because I started with that 80-20 first. And that's really helped me build more muscle, maintain more muscle, and actually just look better aesthetically and healthier. And not to mention that not only like aesthetics and, looking better, but I feel better. I feel like I have more energy. I don't feel so slumped at the end of the day. I am definitely hitting my protein first. So that is your actionable step there. The third point with the 80/20 is in motherhood and homemaking. That is all of us. And we want to simplify for peace and progress. For me and for you, you don't have to do everything. Just do the most important things well. Now, this might look different for you. The most important things for me are end of day, my kitchen sink, and the floors in the living spaces. Then I would say my master bedroom and my master bathroom. After that, it's the kids' rooms just being slightly tidy. I have realized that I prioritize these things, and as these things are done, I feel free to do what I need to do, whether that's homeschooling, meal prepping, training, doing my fitness routine, going to the gym. And even if I have loads of laundry to put away, but it's all clean, I have a set priority list of doing things well. And like I said, for me, mainly that's the heart of the home. For me, that's the kitchen. Then after that, it's my husband and I, our own personal living space. And I think that once you realize and you accept that you don't have to do everything, just the most important things well, I think it frees you up to be like, you know what? The most important things are done. I can go to the gym. I can spare 30 minutes to take care of my body. My kids can go play in the kids club, or we can go to the park. I don't need to, there's mountains of laundry for me. And that used to stress me out. But I think I've learned to let it go, and I've also designated days to put that away. So it doesn't really affect me as much. And obviously, if it really bothered my husband, he would tell me, and we've talked about it, like having certain areas tidy, having certain places well kept and put together. Stewardship for me is going to look different for you and your family. And maybe there's things that you guys would rather have prioritized over the kitchen. But we spend so much time there in that area, in that living space area. And after that, it's really sweeping the floors and mopping, because I just like a clean floor and a clean kitchen. I think it just really sets us up for success. So with the mental shift there, productivity isn't about doing more. It's just doing what actually matters to you. So identify 3 key things that keep your home, your faith, and family in order. Everything else is a bonus. I will add that I have so much laundry because I do enjoy thrifting, and this is something I have to work on. When I do find a few things that I've thrifted, I do need to purge more, because the more laundry you have, the more you have to clean, the longer, things pile up. So I am in the process of kind of minimizing wardrobes for my kids, for myself, and that I hope will help the laundry. So pick your 3 and help keep your house and your home in order. Number 4, faith and mindset. So let go of the 20% that is holding you back. 80% of stress often comes from just 20% of unnecessary burdens. My mental shift here is I don't need to be perfect, but I do need to be faithful. I don't know about you. In some things, I can be a perfectionist, but in others, I'm fine with I need to be faithful in this act or in this work because God has given it to me. And that has really helped me stay the course, especially when it comes to reading my Bible, prioritizing my prayer life, and quiet time. I really have noticed a difference when I guess I do think a lot like pre-kids and pre-multiple kids, having that hour or hour and a half to just read the Bible. And now I need to be a little bit more strategic. But what would hold me back is thinking that I should be able to do that still in the season that I'm in. And what I've realized is that my children seeing me read my Bible while they play in the morning, having their milk or their snack, their pre-breakfast snack, while I have a cup of coffee, is honestly something that I do think they need to see. And taking that time to prioritize it. And it might only be 10 minutes, and sometimes it's 30 minutes, which is awesome. And just do some of that with them as well. Sometimes my little Annie will come and say, "Are you reading? Read to me." And I'll read her the passage that I'm reading. And it's really awesome to let go of what used to be and just kind of embrace what is happening now. So the action step here is each night reflect, did I give my best 80% today? If yes, keep going. If no, just reset and try again the next day. So I want to close this episode with saying that the Pareto Principle isn't about doing less. It's just about doing what truly matters. And then when you apply it to fitness, food, motherhood, and faith, we're going to get better results with less stress. I encourage you to DM me or comment your biggest takeaway on this episode and what area you're going to apply the 80-20 rule first. I'm super curious here. Proverbs 16 verse 3 says, "Commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established." If this episode inspired you, will you share with a friend? Remember, this podcast offers health education tips and holistic insights. Please consult healthcare professionals for personalized advice. Until next time, Mama, be bold and live well.